The Vision High School Sports Beat is brought to you by the 11 locally owned Vision Automotive Group dealerships, offering Nissan, Kia, Buick, GMC, Hyundai, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and the resale division with locations in the greater Rochester area near you. Visit visionauto.com. Hello everyone and welcome to the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We begin our look at Section 5 sports with a trip to Bowl and Roll Lanes in Henrietta. That's where we find Paul Gotham this week with the undefeated Fairport boys bowling team and their quest to repeat as Section 5 champs.
Comparison to a shiny ball in the oil. I'm going to read. You need something with
As defined in the dictionary, perfection is the highest degree of proficiency, skill, or excellence. Expecting perfection is unrealistic, but Fairport Bowling has put themselves in position to reach those heights with frequency.
You know, we expect a little bit of level of success, at least from an individual perspective with some of the kids. They're working their rear ends off and they're practicing. They're in a bowling center 5-6 days a week. You know, but just to the magnitude that we've experienced, this has really been just absolutely amazing. It's been a very pleasant surprise to see how well, not only just individually, this team, or as individuals, they've come together, but as a team and how they've gelled and how they support each other. And I think that's been a huge contribution to our success, team-wise and individually. 5
years removed from their most recent sectional title, Fairport is looking to win back-to-back titles in the competitive Monroe County League. The Red Raiders opened the season with a record of 52-3. The Red Raiders have combined to throw 4 perfect games already this season. Senior captain Stefano Cittadino rolled the first 300 game in early December. Alex Lindenbrink and sophomore Ben Hilbert matched that effort and then some. The duo reached perfection together on the same day. Hilbert later threw another 300 game.
It was really cool to do it in front of the team in such a crucial match. Both times I threw another one in a little bit later, and I really came through for the team, and it was really cool to do it at that at a varsity match.
Lindenbrink has thrown a pair of 800 series.
It's one thing to throw a 300 game, but it's another thing to throw a 300 game on the same day with your teammate. What was that like?
Oh, that was crazy, especially because that was his first 300. So it was really nice to do it and to meet together.
The success is a result of a lot of hard work.
It comes to, you know, being in a bowling center and practicing multiple days a week. And it's not just picking up a ball and going out and throwing 3 games. It's really working on isolated drills, your release, your footwork, following through, reading the lanes. The lanes are different conditions. We bowled in more centers this year, which has been much different for us. So having to adjust to the different centers and how much your ball hooks. So, you know, coming in and really trying to work and build their bowling IQ, it's not just about the physical game, it's about their smarts as well too. And that's one of the things that when they come in and practice that they're working on as well, is building up that knowledge so that they can be more aware when they're on the lanes and going to some of these different centers.
So it's a lot of just having someone videotape you and then seeing what you're doing wrong and then working on it. So whether you want to work on your footwork by doing like 1-2 step drills, or you want to work on your release by just standing at the line and throwing it. There's many different drills that we do, but it's mainly it's very personalized. There's not one universal thing that could work for everybody. So yeah, so it's a lot of coach involvement, a lot of teamwork when making your teammates better.
Sometimes practice can become very competitive when the wager is high.
We sometimes just do a match where we're against one another. We'll do like 3 people against another 3. We'll have 2 teams of 3, and then we'll do punishments for the teams that are losing. We've made people dance up there before, little children dances. We've made them do push-ups from all sorts of things, and they get really upset. And it's fun to watch, and it sucks when you have to do it, but it really makes you work together. So,
luck, though, plays a role.
I did my 10th and 11th shots. I did get quite lucky. I barely knocked over 2 of the pins, but my last shot was good. But luck has a big part to do with it. So
you said you barely knocked them over. So how did they end up falling?
Very slowly. It was like almost like dominoes. One of the pins rolled over and just barely knocked it over. The one in the corner, the back right, the 10 pin.
Did you have any luck on that particular day?
Oh yeah, you always have luck when you get a 300. You can't hit the same spot every single time, so I missed a couple times, but I got the strike.
From Bolarola Lanes in Henrietta, New York, this is Paul Gotham with the Vision High School Sports Beat.
Coming up, Paul is back for the Dunkin High School Notebook. We've got that and more when the Vision High School Sports Beat returns.
There's no better two than the two of us.
I think you're forgetting about Dunkin' Go-To.
Dunkin' Go-To's, a great deal for $2, $4, or $5. America runs on Dunkin'.
Hello everyone and welcome back once again to the Vision High School Sports Beat. It's time now for the High School Notebook brought to you by Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'. Joining us as always, Paul Gotham from pickandsplinters.com. Paul, what do you got on the site right now?
We're going to have full coverage of the Rap Classic down at East High, 6 games starting at noon. Plenty of great games, plenty of great talent. We'll have John LeConge, Wilveridge Langan, and myself covering all the action, bringing it to everybody so that they can read about it. Top 10 polls now on Pick and Splinters. You can get those every Monday morning. A bunch of local media people and insiders voting. We had over 20 votes on the first poll, and so we'll continue that for the rest of the season.
Paul, we spent a lot of time talking about the boys. Let's talk a little girls hoops action right now.
Well, we certainly had a great game between Pittsford Mendon and the Penfield girls. Mendon coming in undefeated, #1 in the state, Class A. Penfield coming in #8 in the state, AA. Two teams that won't meet in sectional times, but they certainly give you a sectional-like sort of atmosphere. Penfield comes away with the big win on the road, and you certainly, when you sit back and you watch that Penfield team, everything starts with their defense. A lot of teams, particularly high school teams, like to talk about their defense, but more of their defense ends up being defense out of urgency, and it's the last 4 minutes of the game when they're down by 8 points, and all of a sudden you can see how well they play. Penfield girls, Mark Vogt has that team. They understand the importance of every possession defensively and offensively. You don't get easy buckets against them. They're great in defensive transition, but then on offense, you talk about balanced efforts there. You've got Bailey Teal leading the point, running the point, and able to hit from long range. You got Nyara Simmons inside, who's a strong player there. And then you got Brianne Moxley out on the perimeter. Brianne Moxley can hit from the 3. She's also a great driver. She's a slasher. She can get to the basket. You look at that team, they can score in so many different ways. They have so many different players who can score, but they also they do a great job of turning defense into points at the other end of the floor. They run a good organized break and get early opportunities there, and they also create a lot of buckets off their inbound plays. That team is going to be quite a battle to have to play them. They're matching up against Bishop Kearney here in a couple weeks. Please save me the space along the baseline because I want to be there for that one.
Now let's go back to boys and talk about one of the teams that kind of has been under the radar for a lot of people, and that'd be Ironically.
And they shouldn't be under the radar. I mean, we have the 2-time Class A1 sectional champions. They won the states 2 years ago and returned to the semis last year. Of course, everybody's thinking Gerald Drumgould leaves the program, goes out to La Lumiere, and they're thinking they're going to be down a little bit. And this is no surprise, but they're 3-1. Or 8-1, I'm sorry, going into this weekend's action. And there's certainly, you look at this team and you look at a kid like Patrick Thomas, and to watch him develop over the last couple years. Last year, Patrick Thomas was a rebound and putback kid. He was a kid that when Freddie June got in the lane and dished off, that's how he was going to score. Suddenly now, Patrick Thomas is a kid that you have to defend him 15 to 17 feet from the basket because he can knock down a jumper on you. He can hit shots, but he's also a shooter, and there's a difference between the two. It shows a lot about the development that he's been through with Chris Carden and with Chris Carden's staff there at Irondequoit. You're going to have to beat the Eagles in order to win sectionals in Class A1.
All right, sounds great. Great stuff as always. Paul will be back with more of the Vision High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kim, and later, brothers take to the mat for Canandaigua. We'll have that story when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues.
Welcome back and thanks for watching the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Kim Burnson.
Honored for making the grade this week is Bishop Kearney senior Cameron Morrissey. Living on your own, so far away from home, attending high school, and playing a high level of hockey can be tough for any teenager to balance on their own, but Cameron handles it all like a pro. Originally from Michigan, Cam moved to Rochester for the Selects Academy hockey program at Bishop Kearney. She is a team leader and lives in a dorm at school with all 40 of her teammates within the program. Cam participates in a lot of school leadership programs, and not only is she a house leader who oversees 80 students, but she's also involved in student council and directs class retreats for younger students. When it comes to her schoolwork, she's ranked 5th overall in her senior class while taking 3 AP courses and maintaining a 96 average. All of her hard work is paid off, as next year she'll be going to the University of Vermont to play D1 hockey on a full-ride scholarship. Nominated for her leadership and overall character, this week Cameron Morrissey is making the grade.
If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. You can send them in to info@classywolf.com.
Thanks, Kim. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in this week's Section 5 Spotlight, brought to you by McCardles and Fairport. Come home to McCardles. Congrats to Wayne's Logan Blankenberg on his 1,000th career point. Coming in a game versus Palmac, Logan, a senior, is just the second Eagles 1,000-point scorer since Sammy Weech did it 23 years ago. Congrats to Mid Lakes Wrestling for winning the Finger Lakes East League Championship. They also took third at the Section 5 Dual Meet Championships this year. And the East Wrestling team had a first, with Andrea Smith picking up her first varsity win and was named the All-Tournament team at the Bill Lawler Fritz Zagorski Duels at Eastridge. And finally, Spencerport's Leo Wengender was recognized as the United Soccer Coaches All-American in a ceremony in Chicago. Sam O'Connor of Brighton was also recognized at the event. Congrats to both All-Americans. Well, coming up next, 2 brothers from Syria, separated for 2 years, now reunited and part of the Canandaigua Wrestling team. We'll have that story when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. This segment of the High School Sports Beat is brought to you by the Injury Free Coalition and our friends at Leo's Bakery and Deli. Please remember to always wear your seatbelt in the front and back seats, and to focus only on driving when behind the wheel of a car. This message courtesy of the Injury Free Coalition for Kids Smart Teen Driving Program and our friends at Leo's Bakery and Deli. Theirs is a story of survival and perseverance, of narrow escapes and amazing discoveries, of 2 young men and the lives they are creating. But most of all, theirs is a story of family, of love, and how the human spirit is stronger than bombs and hatred. When you first see Mohammed and Atman Damlakhi, you can't help but notice their smiles, the joy they get from working out with their Canandaigua teammates. They seem like ordinary high school kids. But when you look closer, you get a sense their lives have been anything but ordinary. Atman has lost all the hair on his body, a condition brought on by stress. His younger brother is missing part of his left hand. Both are the result of one night in 2011 when bombs fell on their home city of Aleppo, Syria, and destroyed their house, trapping them inside. What would happen between then and now is the type of stuff that is usually saved for Hollywood. After the bombing, the family became separated, and they feared they would never see each other again.
Where we go when my house got bombed down, so they took me to the hospital, and there was a lot of people who got injured, so they just did surgery and sent me out, charged me out. So we have to go somewhere else, or they're gonna cut my hand off because it's getting worse and worse. So we moved to other city in Syria. It doesn't have like water or anything, so we go there, and I did surgery, and after that we stayed there for I lost my family in Syria when the house bombed down. So after the house bombed down, so I lost my mom and my brother.
I was all the time go to bed, cry, like for 1 year. After that, I just like forgot about it.
Eventually, they left Syria for Turkey, still not knowing that everyone in the family had survived. And then one day, Atman walked into a repair shop looking for work. Instead, he found something he never thought he'd see again.
So I was looking at him really weird, like, is that my brother? I don't know. Is that my brother or not? So I was afraid to ask him if he is my brother or not, because we thought like my dad and my other two brothers, they dead. We don't know anything about them. So I asked I told, are you Muhammad? Like,
somehow he saw my hand. He's saying, is this my brother or something? So he saw my fingers like that. He didn't know I lost my fingers, so he didn't know it.
Yeah, he said, are you kind of like familiar to me? What is your name? I told him my name was, and he told me, I'm your brother. I said, no way. I was crying,
and he told me his name is like Asman. He's my brother, and I was just crying and excited.
And I asked him about my dad, if he's alive or not. He said yeah, so we left work.
I thought for 2 years I didn't think about them because I thought they're all dead and we couldn't find them for a long time. And I found them. It was really exciting.
Oh my God, I was like, I really want to like hug him, kiss him. I was really like miss my dad a lot. Then I find him. This is how we get together back, and my mom met him. We got back together,
and we stay. After that, my dad, we take my mom to where my dad lives, where we lives, and he saw my mom, and he just was crying.
They had survived a bombing, had been beaten while they sold bread on the streets to try and make money, and finally they made it to America, and eventually Canandaigua, where they would join the wrestling team. Their addition has been a boost, and not just for them.
Having him on the team is really, for me, it's been enlightening and fun as far as kind of like almost like rejuvenating me again in the sense that having two kids that really appreciate the opportunity, you know. And sometimes kids don't always realize the opportunity they have, and they take some opportunities for granted. And these guys just been such a bright light in that regard.
Their impact is being felt by their fellow wrestlers as well.
Yeah, it makes you just think of, wow, like I've never gone through any of that, and I should be grateful for what I have. And if they're happy and they've gone through all that, I mean, how can I complain?
But really, having those guys in the team makes kids realize, that really doesn't matter. What's so important is, or what matters the most is the opportunity to be on the team and the process of working together and going to tournaments and having those experiences, together. Ozzy or Athman, he's just got such a big heart, and Muhammad has just the funnest, craziest, sense of humor, and. They don't take things too seriously. Right. Funny things like first match, Ozzy said, "Coach, you think I'll need to shave?" They make light of it all.
I really like Canandaigua a lot. Like I made a lot of friends here in Canandaigua, and I really like to wrestling. And my coach, he's really good. And he teach me all the moves. No, I mean, yeah, I know like most of the moves, not all of them. I try really hard.
So what is it that can keep people going to get through struggles like these? The strength of family.
There's so much love in that family. So much. They're all so important to each other, and kids go through tough times, but we all need that support from your mom and dad and from your grandparents. And some kids don't have as much of that, and so they're fortunate in that area. Although they went through a really difficult situation, I think their family closeness and love for each other has made them, I think, kind of who they are,
And now that they're here, they know why Canandaigua is the chosen spot.
I really think here, especially here in Canandaigua, in like United States, here in America, like I think I couldn't really like describe it, but I think like it's heaven.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, especially the 11 dealerships in the Vision Automotive Group, for making the Sports Beat possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.